Welcome to another episode of Worthy of Rescue. In the past few podcasts, we've been focusing on rescue. Let's look in the book of Isaiah, chapter 49 and verse 25. Can plunder be retrieved from a giant? Prisoners of war gotten back from a tyrant? But God says, even if a giant grips the plunder and a tyrant holds my people prisoner, I am the one who's on your side, defending your cause and rescuing your children. And your enemies, crazed and desperate, will turn upon themselves, killing each other in a frenzy of self-destruction. Then everyone will know that I, God, have saved you. I, the mighty one of Jacob, pursued, rescued, and transformed. That's Jesus' desire for us. As we spoke earlier podcast about the Good Shepherd, Jesus chose to lay his life down for his sheep. Today, I want to talk about Christ and his marriage contract with his bride, the church. As we look in the book of John, chapter 2, it talks about the wedding at Cana in Galilee. This was after Jesus was baptized and the Holy Spirit descended upon him, after he went into the wilderness 40 days and was tempted by the enemy, after he had chosen his disciples. The mother of Jesus was at this wedding, and Jesus was invited with his disciples. As we know, they ran out of wine, and his mother asked him to perform a miracle. And he said, "Woman, what does this have to do with me? My hour has not yet come." We know that he took the 6 stone jars of water that was used for purification, and he changed it into wine. I've always wondered, did Jesus think about you and me? Did he think about our acceptance of his sacrifice for our redemption? In 1999, I used to drive up to Dallas, Fort Worth for intercessor conferences, and I was listening to a sermon about the marriage contract prior to an actual marriage in Jewish history. The ketubah outlines the groom's various responsibilities to provide for his wife food, shelter, clothing, to be attentive to her emotional needs, and protecting her. But this wine banquet that they had, the groom would go to the father's house, outlining what he would do in the marriage contract for this bride, and they would have a wine banquet. The future groom would pour out a cup of wine, pouring out himself, all that he is, all that he has, and all that he will bring to the marriage and do for her is represented in that cup. And throughout the banquet, if she accepts that and drinks from it, she's accepting the marriage contract. My son and his wife's anniversary is coming up, and my son listened to that sermon. And when he proposed to his wife, they were at church. He brought out a cup with some grape juice because they were underage, under 21, and he poured himself into that cup and proposed to her, and she accepted that. As we spoke about in an earlier podcast, the Last Supper with the disciples, Jesus poured out himself, this new covenant, the bread and wine representing himself. And he said, "I will not drink this again until I drink it anew with you in my Father's kingdom." So when we celebrate communion, we're celebrating a marriage covenant, a marriage contract with Christ. He has sent the Holy Spirit as this down payment, as this dowry in our lives to lead and guide us into all truth, so that we can live with him in eternity when the New Jerusalem is brought down to a new heaven and a new earth. God and Christ, they will dwell with man here on this new earth. So today, my dear listeners, remember that you are worthy of rescue. You are pursued by Jesus, who laid himself and his life down for you